On the Tidal Potomac today, going after some blue catfish. We're actually going to have a shore lunch of blue catfish with my buddy Scott and Dave. We'll go ahead and launch. Dave got out here a little bit before Scott and I, and he's got an interesting way to attach to this bridge. He's got his fish gripper there looped around, and it's going right to this lead here, and that keeps you stationary, right?
Exactly, yep. And I got a quick release back here on this Beaner 9 here. So
cool.
If I need to cut loose because I catch a 50-pound blue, you know, and I need to take down that way.
You can leave that line behind.
I can leave that line behind.
Cool. Got one?
Got one. Quite the struggle. Looks like about a 25-incher maybe? Well, maybe not that long.
So what's your bait there?
A little chunk of chicken breast, about maybe 1.5 inches by 2. Apparently they prefer chicken breast because it's leaner, you know, the fish are, you know, they're concerned about their weight.
Yeah, they worry about their cholesterol.
Yep, and the circle hook, of course, you know, comes right out to the edge of the mouth, whereas the cat's going to want to swallow the bait. The circle hook will just continue to pull out of his mouth till it gets the corner and gets it hooked right like this.
Nice. Hold on to that one. That's an eater. Yeah, good one, Dave.
I do.
Oh, I got one too. I'm trying to film, and I got fish jumping on it. Yours looks bigger. I'd rather film yours than reeling mine. You mentioned you use a different rig than we used last time.
I did. I'm basically kind of using almost like a Carolina rig. I've got a 1/2 ounce sliding egg sinker with a bead up in the front down to a swivel, and then I got about 24 inches of 20-pound test onto my circle hook.
Cool. We didn't get any of the action sequence of this, but Scott just got his personal best blue cat. Nice one, man.
And it's huge, and it's heavy.
Cool.
Unbelievable.
Now, Dave, you think we eat this one?
I think that one's definitely too big to eat.
Too big to eat. Why is that?
That fish is probably another couple years older than the ones we've been getting, so he's basically probably accumulated a lot more PCBs.
Right, so he's got toxins in him.
Oh.
But we got some good picks of a nice big fish. He was fun to catch, right?
I'll come back and catch you again one day.
Let me get a quick measurement on the paddle.
Yeah, we'll get a measurement, see how long this one is. Beautiful fish, Scott.
Thanks, thank you, Jeff. All right, this is a 29-inch blue catfish caught in the Tidal Potomac, and it's my personal best, and they just keep coming today. I'm gonna send them right back in.
Got enough of these little guys. We're gonna have some lunch here in a second. I brought some plates and tin foil, and more importantly, fire starting material. Now that's not necessarily real important just for cooking some lunch here, but anytime you're out this time of year, you don't have a dry bag, obviously with dry clothes, but you want to be able to start a fire. Fortunately here we got a lot of kindling, all this driftwood here. We're gonna get a nice coal bed, fillet these catfish, and you know, just wrap them up in tin foil. I got some Cajun seasonings, and just let them cook a little bit on that coal bed. But let's get a fire started first with our what I got here in my dry bag. Let's take a look. The dry bags I use are made by Watershed. Real nice design. You just do an S shape at these tabs, pull it apart, real easy to open. You don't have to fold it up and reach way down in a tube. Nice big opening here. We got a little bit of cardboard. I've got some fire starter material in here. I'm just digging through all my extra clothes for whenever I need to. There we go. Let's look in this bag. I got some napkins, I think I got a magazine in there that we're gonna, and I got a lighter, and I got a pair of matches, or a book of matches. So I got a couple different ways to start a fire. We're gonna go ahead and do that. I really carry it for safety's sake, but today we're using it for catfish sake. What you got there, buddy? You want to chop them? Get that big knife out and off with his head.
Off with his head, huh?
Yep. I know when they taught us, you know, building fires in Boy Scouts, they would give you 3 matches and say, all right, you got to do it with limited resources. Now's not the time to do that. You want to have everything to make it as easy as possible. I've got fire starter material. I've got a magazine. I got some cardboard to block the wind if that keeps putting out a small flame that we get started. And Scott was nice enough to go ahead and start by getting me a bunch of small sticks here. So you want to get it right the first time, and we'll be able to do that here real quick. All right, we got our Trinette, our Cajun seasoning, and a fillet knife. And the aluminum foil. Now normally when I fillet a catfish, I will actually trace the outline of the fillet on their skin. I won't go all the way deep. And then I get a pair of pliers on there, and you start on this upper corner. I don't have pliers on me, but I'd start on the upper corner and I'd peel it all the way back once I trace the whole fillet, just to get all that skin off there. I'm not even gonna mess with it today. I'm just gonna fillet it directly, and then I'll lay that skin down on the cutting board and just cut right underneath it. Just cut it off, because a lot of that muscle that's right next to the skin has some of the fat that holds those toxins, the mercury, the PCBs that you don't want to be ingesting. The other thing we do to make sure we don't get the mercury and PCBs is we use these smaller fish. We didn't eat Scott's big one, his 29 incher, because the older and the bigger they get, and this goes for striped bass, catfish, everything out here, the higher up in the food chain you get, the bigger the animal you get, they have more of that accumulated in them, because the shad eat whatever's out there, the algae or whatever, they just take in all of those toxins, and the more shad or menhaden or whatever bait fish a predator fish like this is eaten over their lifetime, the more of that is in them. So we eat the smaller ones, and we get that skin completely off the fish. So I got a couple fillets here with the skin on, skin side down, and I'm just kind of going right between the skin and the cutting board, getting all that good clean meat right in the middle. See that? All right, we got some good fillets here. Made sure I got all the skin off of them. We got some extra pieces. We're gonna actually take that skin and maybe a couple of the tail pieces, and we'll actually use that as bait here in a couple, whenever we're done eating. So waste not, want not. This whole carcass is gonna go back down in that hole where that fish came from, and certainly those fish will go ahead and be, what's the word I'm looking for? Cannibalistic. Yeah, they got no trouble eating on their own kind. So, all right. So we got. Go ahead and lay these out. And this is I just grabbed some Cajun seasoning and some salt. Sprinkle those on. Go ahead and wrap this up real tight. Do not let any of that steam escape. It'll cook in its own moisture. Scott, if you would, just toss that on the bed of coals there. We'll have some good catfish here in a minute. Give me that bucket. We'll put some, we'll throw these scraps in here. We got bait. All right, we got another batch here. Here's the first batch, guys.
It's delicious.
Excellent.
Cool.
What a meaty fish.
Goes great with the Old Bay.
Alright, let's put this one on. We better flatten that out first. I really just want it on a bed of coals. These guys have kept up with the fire real good. A couple of these sideways. And just lay it right across there. Cook up good. Sweet. Looks like we got plenty. Right back on them. Doesn't take long when you find them, right? So this is a technique that I like to use when I know that there's something that the catfish can snag under. This bridge piling happens to have an overhang. It comes down and then undercuts, and that makes it hard to not break off when your line's going down and cutting under it. So I one-hand paddle, I actually back up, I make use of my elbows in coming back, and I point the rod directly at the fish, and I kind of low gear him out of there. So that helps you really just winch these catfish out of, and it could be anything like a jumble of logs that they're holed up in. Whatever you think that you have that these fish are gonna hang up in. We've had more luck today when there's been current. When we had slack tide, we weren't catching as many of these blue catfish. The rig that we're using, we do better, it seems, with the smaller pieces of the chicken breast. Like what I got here. What you can see here on the corner of his mouth, right here, that's all the bigger that you need. I know somewhere out there's a cat fisherman who catches the bigger ones of these saying, no, you need a whole shad there. And I know that's one tactic they use. They put an entire shad on a big circle hook. But we're catching this size pretty well here with this size piece of chicken. And we've caught some on the catfish itself. The technique, I've been over this in previous videos on this, is you don't want to, with any circle hook rigging, you don't want to, when you feel a bite, set the hook and bring it in. You want to just kind of watch your rod tip. You feel it hit, you see your rod tip going down, you point your rod tip at it, and then you just start reeling, not super fast, but evenly as you sweep up. That'll put it right in the corner of their mouth. Makes for a real good hookup percentage.